And that interaction is coming on. He's in the studio. Nenyi Andah is the Deputy Minister for Communication. I know that position will come in handy as he goes into the primaries of the election this weekend. His main contender is one Mr. Joseph Awutu. He's Member of Parliament for Awutu, Senya West. He is the incumbent. That's a great tag to go into this primary with. Welcome.
Thank you very much, my brother. How are you doing?
I'm good.
It's been a while.
Yes.
You're looking good.
You've not been looking out for me. I've not been looking out for you.
The best way to defend is to attack. But let me say good morning to your viewers, especially those that are watching us from Awutu Senya West, the delegates from Awutu Senya West, and good morning.
Yeah, definitely. You're a friend of the show, so usually we treat friends of the show very friendly. But it's always important for us to dissect the issues as they are.
Sure.
What's the number of your delegates in the first place?
It's about 650 delegates.
Oh, about 650. That's a manageable figure.
Well, it depends on what you mean.
Okay, so usually what has characterized the elections of the political parties is sharing of TVs, mobile phones, etc. Which one are you sharing?
I think for us, we're sharing the message of the positive things that we have done. We are riding on the success of what we've been able to do in the past 3.5 years, the success of the NPP, the promises that we are delivering on, the change that we are bringing to Awutu Senya West and the country as a whole. So the things that we campaigned on in the 2016 elections are what we are campaigning on, and that's what the delegates, and indeed beyond the delegates, have bought into.
Your constituency is very close to Accra. Does it make it difficult to be an MP for that constituency in the first place? Because it's almost like semi-cosmopolitan sort of.
Well, I guess so. I guess it's a bit difficult because you need to understand what drives, what motivates the electorate, and you cannot classify them as cosmopolitan entirely, and you cannot classify them as rural entirely. In fact, a significant number of the youth from the constituency tend to come towards Kaswa and Accra to work, and then they go back. So it's the dynamics are different, and you know, Awutu Senya West is unique because it has the Senya side, which is a fishing community, and then the Awutu side, which is a farming stroke trading community. So the dynamics are quite unique.
Your contender says that he will win 50% of the delegates' votes.
Well, I don't know how getting 50% is a win. So obviously, even his strategy falls flat in the face. It's for the primaries. You're looking at the first past the goalpost.
So it has to be 50 plus 1.
No, it has to be 50 plus 1. And for me, I think looking at what we've done in the constituency, looking at the feedback from the delegates. The delegates themselves are telling us, I don't think that we should get anything less than 65 to 70% of the votes.
Joseph Awutu is not a first-timer contesting you. So it makes the dynamics of this election a bit very much familiar, but also a bit tensed. Is that how you feel within your campaign team?
No, not at all. I think for me, competition is good, and it creates opportunity for different people to view different types of messages, different types of leadership, and for them to make an informed decision as to who they are going to support. We have been campaigning on the message. We've been campaigning on the success. We've been campaigning on things that we believe that we can do better. You have a situation where people are campaigning with insults and image denting, which for me, I don't think that that's the way to go. But putting that aside, I think that Saturday is not too far. God is going to speak. The delegates themselves have been saying that Awutu Senya West seems to have formed a kind of behavior where every 4 years they change their parliamentary candidate. And looking at the development that we've brought in, looking at the change that we've brought in, looking at the infrastructure that we've brought, looking at the jobs that we have created, and looking at the unity that we have created in the constituency, they believe that another 4 more years and even more would certainly put Awutu Senya West in a better place. And it's the delegates themselves that are saying that. So I think it's a good thing. And inshallah, God would speak, the delegates will speak on Saturday, and we'll continue doing what we're doing.
If this was the main election and you were fighting another opponent from another party, I'll ask the critical questions about what development you've brought into the constituency. But nonetheless, I'll give you the opportunity to say that, because I know for intra-party elections, it has no bearing on that. But
well, I mean, leadership is leadership, and of course, if you haven't, for me, because I'm an incumbent MP, it obviously makes sense to be able to put out my track record, because we're going to campaign based on that track record. So if you're talking about infrastructure, I think that in Awutu Senya West, we've done quite a bit. With the support of the First Lady, Rebecca Foundation, we're able to renovate the Bojuasi Maternity Clinic. We're able to put up an incubator there. It's never happened in the constituency before. We've been able to have a dedicated resident doctor there. We've done the renovation of the first phase of the Bojuasi market. We've extended water to over 31 communities in Awutu Senya West. We've done supported the reconstruction of the Bojuasi Mosque. We're currently constructing an astroturf in Bojuasi. You come to the Awutu Breku area. With the support of the Imperial Homes Foundation, we put up an ultra-modern 2-classroom block. We currently reconstructing or paving the Derba grounds. You go to Senya. I think maybe that's the biggest thing is the landing beach wharf that is being constructed in Senya. We've donated loads of computers to the various schools, renovated ICT labs. We've carried out vacation classes. We've done for traders. We got a microfinance company to come into the constituency and to support them in giving them loans. We've done scholarships for, I think so far we're running to about 200 needy but brilliant students. And we've given over 600 youth in the community jobs. You're talking about school feeding. From the time that President Kufuor left office, Awutu Senya West had 5 schools on the school feeding program. When the NDC came into power, they couldn't add even just 1. Currently, we have 63 schools that are on the school feeding program, and you can do the math, okay, and find out how many people have been given employment through the school feeding program. If you're just looking at 5 people that are cooking, the people that are providing supplies and stuff like that. So we've managed to a large extent improve the economy in Awutu Senya West. Now that said, there are some misses as well, and for me, the biggest miss today is the construction of the Bojuasi Swedru Road, which is a big
stretch. Yeah.
Yes, it's a terrible road. Are
you working towards so that your next term at least you
well, not even the next term. The contract has been awarded, so we're expecting that in the shortest possible time the contractor will move to site, and then that road will be done. You're talking about the construction of the town roads in Breku. That is also a mess to date. But the fact that we recognize these messes means that we're on top of the game, and we definitely are going to make sure that we can do what we need to do. We're talking about planting for food and jobs. We've done a lot of programs. I mean, the distribution of coconut seedlings to 10,000 farmers. One district, one factory. There's a Imperial Homes there. There's the interesting thing about Imperial Homes is there was a lot of illegal sand winning in that enclave. So what Imperial Homes are doing is to win the sand legally, put a scheme to make sure that the places that they've won sand, the area is regrassed, okay, and then add value to the sand that is being winning. So all the concrete products that are being used are coming from there. They have a fantastic establishment in there. Then you're looking at the APEP gas production, the gas cylinder production, which is also just about starting operations in Awutu, Senya West under the One District, One Factory initiative. So, Roland, I think that we have done quite a bit. There's every reason why we should be able to go hitting our chest and confidently asking for 4 more years to do more for Awutu, Senya West, for the people of Awutu, Senya West. And I believe that the people of Awutu, Senya West and the good people of Ghana, by extension to the NPP, will give us that additional 4 years to go ahead.
Yeah, there's a considerable expectation on your part that if you become MP, because it's also partly an agrarian area or an economy that is also based on agriculture, will have a greater development of our growers, whether it's cassava also. How are we working towards that? Also?
Well, so I did mention the issue about the coconut seedlings, for example. And so that's one initiative that is taking off. You know that the Ayensu Starch Factory is also situated in my constituency. And there are a few issues with the management of that factory. And so once those issues are addressed, then that whole outgrower scheme kicks off again. You're looking at pineapples that are being produced in the constituency. You're looking at cocoa that is being produced in the constituency. So the mass spraying, the pruning of the cocoa trees and replanting of the cocoa trees are all taking place in the constituency as well. But that said, I mean, so that is from the Awutu side predominantly. Now, when you come to the Senya side, that's what I mentioned about the landing beach wharf or the mini harbor, which is currently being constructed. So then that creates an opportunity for value to be added to the fish that is caught. It comes in with a cold store, it comes in with a clinic, it comes with a creche, okay, with offices and stuff like that. And most importantly, a place where the canoe owners can bet their canoes when they are not fishing. So the destruction that happens to them when there's a big wave and stuff like that will all be curtailed. And I think that for Awutu Senya West and predominantly Senya, that's one of the biggest things that happened in their lifetime.
Well, I spoke to somebody who is a member of your party. I believe he's also a delegate. And one of the things he said was that, and I believe he said he was going to vote for you. But one of the reasons why he cited was that because you're a deputy minister, it wraps off them. And how does that become handy when you're a deputy minister, and so it means that you're able to pull resources on or?
I'll tell you a story. There was one of the delegates was telling me that he was looking for an opportunity to get a scholarship, and he had tried everything possible, and he wasn't getting through. So he asked to see the person that was in charge, and when he went there, the person declined, and the guy was like, George Andah is going to be very disappointed because he really, really wanted me to further my education. Then the person turned and says, which George are you talking about? And he said, so he's the one that is pushing you. You want to do this because George is asking you to add more value to yourself. He says, yes. This is okay, I'll see what I can do. So I think that definitely there are opportunities that people get. There are things there are doors that open if you have the right level of clout, you have the right connections, and I don't think that having the opportunity of being a minister or a deputy minister makes you any better than an MP. I think it's just additional responsibility that you get, but depending on how you leverage on the relationships that you are able to build, you can rub off positively on your constituency.
And you have done that positively based on what you're telling me. But if we have to look at the elections going forward, this primary this weekend, what are your main key messages? And for many times, you're a great communicator too, so you can have some key points to say, these are the messages I want to tell these number of just over 600 delegates, and I believe
so you know, I'm sure that you do recall that going to 2016, we were campaigning with the mantra "power to do more." That we were campaigning for power to be able to do more for our country, do more for our community, do more for ourselves. And I guess in the last 3 years, like I've narrated, in the last 3.5 years, there's a lot that we've done with the power that we have that has been given to us in Awutu Senya West. In the key areas, I talked about health, I talked about education, I talked about agriculture, I talked about jobs, I talked about infrastructure, I talked about economic empowerment. In all those areas, there's evidence, it's clear that we have been able to do more than what we came to meet. And people in Awutu Senya West, to a large extent, are extremely proud now to be saying that they come from Awutu Senya West. And I think that those are the messages that are cutting through to the delegates. You talk about even the kind of unity in Awutu Senya West. You're coming from a situation where the leadership that was in control was not uniting the constituency. Now you cut across from the reverend ministers of the religious organizations, to the traditional authorities, to transporters, to traders. Everybody is coming together. Everybody is looking at putting Awutu Senya first, and I think that is one of the big things that we've been able to do. I mean, all the promises that, as a party, we had made to Awutu Senya West, all the commitments that we have made to Awutu Senya West, I believe that it's time to pay off.
Ultimately, what would it mean for you if you are able to, again, get re-elected as a PC or the parliamentary candidate?
I guess it would be a big demonstration of the level of confidence that Awutu Senya West are reposing in me and my party. Opportunity to, not opportunity, but a clear statement that we need to do more with the power that they are giving to us. A clear statement that Awutu Senya West deserves the very best, and a statement that the misses that have happened over the past 3.5 years must be corrected, and that we should create a situation where Awutu Senya West is a go-to place to work, a go-to place to live, a go-to place to be with your family and your friends.
One of the integral aspects of you being a party person and seeking re-election is for you to have a good relationship with the party executives or the constituency. Do you have that?
I think to a large extent, yes. I mean, you probably will not get everybody to be 100% on side, and that is the reality of life. But I think to a large extent, a majority of the leadership of the party in the constituency are supporting my bid for another term.
Okay. We will take this further, and we'll say that on the show. We'll support you. We're hoping that you again will be elected as the PC. You're a very good person, very resourceful, very transformational in the West, that you tend to give out to aspire many people. And I hope that your constituents see that you're a national asset just beyond the constituency. How do you drum that home into their minds when you are communicating with them? Because I'm asking this because of the politics that we play in our country. We don't tend to hail our heroes very often.
Well, I think the biggest endorsement or the biggest testimony to the style of leadership is how you're able to impact people's lives and how you're able to impact the community. So the people that we are given an opportunity to complete their tertiary education, the people that we are given an opportunity to take loans from microfinance company to improve their businesses, the communities that have never had pipe-borne water that are currently opening the taps and getting water, the communities that didn't have electricity and are currently able to switch on electricity, the communities that had terrible roads, the communities that didn't have anybody that they can point out and say that this person has been given a job and he's coming back to the community to help another person to become like him. Okay, I think those things are clearly evident in Awutu Senya West. However, I'm not saying that we are done in Awutu Senya West, and that's why we're saying that we want to do more. We have to do more. We don't have a choice. We have to do more, and that is where we have to be. It's not a tick in the box and say that happy days, yeah, we're done. Let's go. There's a lot more that we have to do, and we can only do that if we come together. If we continue believing in the leadership of the NPP, because you must understand that whatever happens at the national level, at the macro level, is what trickles down to the constituency level. So, I mean, there's really no point in saying that we've done so much in the Awutu Senya West, but we are not happy with NPP. It's being happy with NPP that will make us happy with NPP in the Awutu Senya West, and I think that's obvious.
Is that resounding enthusiasm that was associated with the party in 2016 still there as you enter these primaries? Not on your level, generally. I
think, listen, to be honest, I think that when your party is in power, the expectations that people have are extremely high.
Very high.
Even if somebody is arrested by the police, okay, for a road traffic regulation, he or she expects you to be able to make a call and then he should be set free. So I think that those...
You've received a number of such calls?
I've received a number of those calls. I mean, sometimes it's very embarrassing to try and talk to a policeman that you know that he's doing his work. Sometimes I say I've heard, and I mean, this is what it is. But yeah, I think those are the downsides, the level of expectations that people have of your party when your party is in power. That's sometimes a bit of a challenge to manage. But to a large extent, I think once your party is in power, you remember what ex-President Kufuor used to say, that it's better for you to be a cleaner with your party in power than be a general secretary when your party is in the opposition. So once your party is in power, there's some clout, there's some happiness, there's a feeling of belonging, a feeling of patriotism, a feeling of pride that comes with it. We need to manage the expectations of our people.
Well, your last word to the delegates before you go into this election. I know that you may make some more appearances before.
Well, I think at the end of the day, it's the delegates that select whoever it is that is going to lead them. So it's their decision for them to make. For me, I've offered myself to serve again. I believe that with hard work, with humility, with honesty, with achievements on the ground, the delegates themselves would make the right choice. We should be thinking of selecting somebody who, beyond the primaries, would lead Awutu Senya West. So you want somebody who is going to challenge, or he's going to defend the position that we currently hold against the NDC, and I'm trusting that the delegates in the Awutu Senya West would make my heart very happy. 21st is Father's Day. And I think that the biggest gift that Awutu Senya West can do for me on Father's Day is to continue praying for me and to give me every sounding victory on the 20th. And I'm counting your support, and I know that by the grace of God, it will happen.
Well, our wishes are all with you. And
Thank you very much.
Best. We wish you all the best in this primary. We'll be monitoring the situation. Of course, this is your election headquarters. We're bringing to you live across the country that election of the NPP, 168 constituencies, just one short of 169. And we'll bring you all the update right here on your election headquarters. And that's Nenyi George Andah. He foremostly is the Deputy Minister of Communication. He helps. And if you have a Deputy Minister of Communications as your MP, it also is a better help for you as well, and a better pride coming from your community. He's contesting in that primary this weekend. His contender is one Mr. Joseph Awutu, but we say that, look, he's a regular on the show. Our hearts are out to him as well, and all the support. We wish you all the best, sir.
Thank you very much, Roland, for the endorsement. And I'll deliver the seat for you. Not just the primaries, but the main election will deliver as well.
You've inspired me in many fronts, so it will be good to have you back in
The feeling is mutual, Roland.
Yes, sir. Sharp. Well, moving on. More than 200 villages along Ghana's coastline, they rely on fisheries as their main primary source of income. Now, Ghana's small pelagic fisheries, however, which is crucial for food security and livelihood, however, is on the brink of collapse following decades of over-exploitation. The illegal practice of psycho-fishing, which is a transshipment of fish at sea from industrial trawlers to local canoes, has had a particularly destructive impact or effect on Ghana's small pelagic fisheries. Now, JoyNews, Richard Kojo-Nyakun went undercover for several weeks in some of these vessels to capture the illegal fishing business that are said to have been suspended. We're bringing you excerpts as we get ready for the second part, which will air right here on JoyNews this evening at 6:30 p.m. Yeah.